In energy conservation and management, we will study Introduction to Energy Conservation. We begin with overview of global energy scenario. The global energy mix is significantly tied with fossil fuels. In year 2022, the share of fossil fuels was 80.96%. It included 27.6% coal, 30.2% oil, and 23.1% of natural gas of the total energy supply in the world. The share of renewable energy, it includes hydropower also, was 14.3% of the total global energy supply. The nuclear power contributed the rest 4.7% of total primary energy supply. Total global energy supply in 2022 was 14,860 million tons of oil equivalent, in short MTOE. And when we convert it in kilojoule, it comes out to be 6.22 into 10 to the power 16, 10 to the power 17 kilojoule. In this pie chart, the same we can see here. It is of percentage of total world primary energy supply by fuel, where coal is 27.63, oil we can see 30.20, natural gas 23.13, nuclear 4.71, and this portion of renewable 14.33%. Now, a total of 29,269 terawatt hour of electricity was generated in the world in the year 2022. Fossil fuels accounted for 60.7% of total electricity generation in the world. Again, 35.7% coal, 22.3% natural gas, and 2.7% oil. The rest 30% global electricity generation came from renewable energy. This includes hydropower also and nuclear energy, of which 29.8% came from renewable energy, including hydropower, and 9.2% from nuclear power. A total of 8,745 terawatt hour of renewable electricity was generated in the year 2022. The total global electricity generation climbed from 6.1 trillion kilowatt hour in 1973 to 29.3 trillion kilowatt hour in 2022. The same can be seen here in this pie chart. This is percentage of global electricity generation by fuel type and source. Coal 36%, oil 3%, natural gas 22%, nuclear 9%, hydro 15%, and renewable 15%. This data is of 2022, and here it is the source of the data. We can see the global final energy consumption of 2022 was equivalent to 10,075 million ton of oil equivalent. And we will see sector-wise, 30.4% of the final consumption was utilized by industry, 27.8% by transportation, and 20.3% by residential. Now we will see overview of Indian energy scenario. At present, India is heavily dependent on fossil fuels that are non-renewable and unfriendly to the environment. The year 2023-24 witnessed more than 90% fossil fuels, and its composition is 59.9% coal, 28.1% oil, and 7.15% natural gas. of the total energy supply in India. Total energy supply in 2023-24 was around 910 million tons of oil equivalent. We can see here the total primary energy supply in India from 2005-6 to 2023-24 here. We can see here the figure 380 million ton oil equivalent in 2005-6 and now 915 million ton oil equivalent in 2023-24. And this source of data is Niti Aayog, and this is the website. Now we can see percentage of primary energy supply by fuel for the year 2023-24. We can see here coal 59.9%, oil 28.1%, renewables 2.2%, hydro 1.26%, gas 7.15%, and nuclear 1.37%. A total of 1949 terawatt hour of electricity was generated in India in 2023-24. Fossil fuels accounted for 78.5% of total electricity generation in India. Renewable energy was responsible for 21.5% electricity generation in India. A total of 418 terawatt hour of renewable electricity was generated in 2023-24. The total final energy consumption at the end of 2023-24 was equivalent to 608.67 million tons oil equivalent. 43.5% of final consumption was utilized by industry, 9.4% by transportation, 10.2% by residential, and 3.7% by agriculture. This was sector-wise breakup. Now coming to energy sources, supply and demand. First we will see supply side. Primary energy supply, coal, oil, gas, nuclear, hydro, and renewables other than large hydro constitute primary energy sources. We will see the primary energy supply by source for the year 2010 to 11 to 2023-24, and these figures are in million ton oil equivalent. These all figures are in million ton oil equivalent. Here we can see the data from 2010-11 up to 2023-24. It is available for nuclear, coal, oil, renewable, hydro, gas, and total is here. We can see in 2010-11 we have 522 million ton oil equivalent of primary energy supply, and in the year 2023-24 it stands at 915 million ton oil equivalent. Now we will see final consumption, sector-wise energy consumption for the same period, that is 2010-11 to 2023-24. We will see in the next slide, and all these figures are in million ton oil equivalent. We can see here final energy consumption for India sector-wise in 2010-11. Here we can see agriculture, commercial, industrial, non-energy, other residential, transport, and for we can also see for 2023-24 we can see how final energy consumption has increased. Agriculture from 11.76 million ton oil equivalent to 22.56 million ton oil equivalent. All these figures are in million ton oil equivalent. For transport, we can see in 2010-11 it was 28.3 million ton oil equivalent, and now in 2023-24, it stands at 57.57 million ton oil equivalent. The percentage growth in total energy consumption at the end of 2023-24 was 8.55% as compared to 2022-23. We can see from the previous chart that this has been increase in consumption from 2022-23 to 2023-24. The final consumption in industrial sector, transportation sector, residential sector, and agricultural sector saw an increase of 11.7%, 10.45%, 4.7%, and 4.9% in the year 2023-24 as compared to 2022-23. These are the figures sector-wise, means for industrial sector, the increase was 11.7%. For transportation sector, it was 10.45%. Likewise, it has been given here. Now, imperative for energy conservation. Why energy conservation is essential? We will see to that. It was the first oil shock of 1973 that saw the beginning of an all-out energy conservation by most of the industrialized nations of the world. The 73 war between Egypt and Israel and the unprecedented decision of the Organization of Arab Petroleum Exporting Countries to stop the export of oil to the USA, Japan, and other countries of Western Europe resulted in an increase in prices more than 10 times the pre-war level. This crisis is referred to as the first oil shock. After some time, oil prices came down. This was a wake-up call for developed countries as far as the price of oil was concerned. So just we have seen first oil shock of 1973 here. Two important notions were developed here. First, minimization of the use of natural resources, that is to conserve them. It is very vital. And the second one was this resource conservation should happen without lowering the quality of life. So we have to conserve, and the way should be in such a way that it should not lower the quality of life. High priority was assigned to conservation measures post 1973. The story of 126% economic growth between 1973 and 2000 in the US, an increase in energy consumption by only 30% in this period unfolded unprecedented energy conservation measures. Economic growth 126% and increase in energy consumption only by 30%. Now let us see second oil shock. In 1979, second oil shock came. Prices of oil rose again with the Iranian Revolution. With these two oil shocks, conservation of energy finally started receiving serious attention as an extremely important item in the national energy policy agenda. The UN Commission on Environment and Development report, Our Common Future, formed the basis of policy discussion on environmental and developmental issues at the international level. These events forced governments all over the world to take the resource constraint seriously. Now coming to India's context. In India's context, energy conservation efforts got attention in 1970. In 1970, a Fuel Policy Committee was set up in view of meager oil reserves and increasing demand. The committee's first report came in 1972 and the final report in 1974 suggested steps to be taken by the government. Key suggestions include substitution of oil by coal, higher efficiency for electricity generation and transmission, promotion of indigenous research and development in energy technologies, coherent energy policy for national development, and provided an outline for the energy policy of the country. In 1980, the Advisory Board of Energy was set up. This board prepared study reports, perspective on energy demand up to 2004, 5 and energy conservation. To promote the conservation of oil, the Petroleum Conservation Action Group was formed and subsequently it was renamed as PCRA in 1978. The Interministerial Working Group on Energy Conservation, formed in 1981 to recommend policies and programs for achieving the targets of energy savings, submitted its reports in 1983. The working group came up with the first concrete proposal for the reduction in energy consumption in India. Thus, the journey of necessity to conserve energy follows the same timeline for the world and India. As we have seen, for the world, it was 1973, first oil shock, and for India, it was 1970. Energy efficiency and energy conservation are closely related to each other. Energy efficiency is associated with the most efficient use of energy at all stages, from production to end use. We are talking of energy efficiency is associated with most efficient use of energy at all stages, from production to end use. And energy conservation is associated with measures to reduce energy at the point of consumption. In this way, energy efficiency is a broader term that includes energy conservation. So, from here, we can see energy efficiency is associated with all stages from production to end use, whereas energy conservation is associated with measures to reduce energy at the point of consumption. The main concerns of government, industries, facilities, and organizations are the prices and cost of energy sources used. The year 2023 saw an average price of Brent crude oil around $82 per barrel, that is nearly $0.5 per liter. The crude oil prices varied between $66.74 per barrel and $98 per barrel in 2023. The cost of other energy sources like coal has an influence on the energy mix. That is why the focus has shifted towards energy efficiency and renewable energy in recent years. Generation through renewable energy is in a way energy conservation exercise, as non-renewable sources could be saved. It is an important point here. Generation through renewable energy is in a way energy conservation exercise, as non-renewable sources could be saved. Through energy efficiency measures, cost reduction can be achieved for companies and organizations. With this, we end this chapter. Thanks.